this about Venvs. I'm going to take you through why we need Venvs, Python Venvs, and what they're used for. So let's crack on because it's going to be a short video. So what are Venvs? So Venvs is an isolated Python environment, and the first question would be, why do we need an isolated Python environment? So a good way to illustrate this is kind of looking at what the issue would be if we didn't have the environment itself. So we install Python as a root directory, and we install a load of third-party modules in Python over time. If you haven't done that yet, I'm sure you'll get to that at some point very soon for all your different projects. So here's an example here. So I've installed Python in my root directory. This is my computer. I've then installed matplotlib and a version here. I've installed tzData, NumPy, pandas, and this is all fine because they're all different. So if I went to call one of these, I'd import them into my script and it would all be fine. The issue kind of comes up when you start using different versions of the same module. So say then I use matplotlib and it's a different version over here. If I then try and import this into Python in one of my scripts, it will kind of start to fall over because it won't know which version to use. Are we updating versions? And things will start falling over then because you might have built something around per matplotlib 3.1.1, not 2.10.1, etc., etc. So to get over this issue is the use of virtual environments, and that's kind of why you're here. So quickly, just to show you what we can do is we can create a load of different virtual environments for each different project. And what that allows us to do then is create this isolated kind of environment which can store our imports, and it will mean that we don't have this kind of cross-contamination, and when we're working in an environment it's cut off from then the other environments. So that's kind of why we need them, and this is how we will then go about creating them. So if I come back to here, so I've just opened my terminal up here. You can see where am I at the moment? I am in new. So if I cd out of new, cd out of trash, I will then be at the root. I'm gonna cd into my desktop, so that's what you can see in the background here. And unsurprisingly, like you can see, there is nothing on my desktop. So what I want to do is create a new project. So this is going to be called my new project very originally, and you can see it comes up over here. This is exactly the same if I ls that quickly, so you can see my new project is there. This is exactly the same as doing a new folder. So if I created my new project 2 in here, so I've created another project here. If I then ls and list everything that's in this in my desktop, you can then see my new projects there. So doing this make directory is exactly the same as what I've just showed you. So I don't need this second project, so I can move that to my bin. So I have my new project. So nice. Now within my new project, we want to create a virtual environment to store all our imports, etc., etc., like we've discussed, and we've seen the reasons why we want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to move into my new project. I'm then going to tab that. So I've moved into my new project, and you can see I've moved into my new project here. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to install the Venv. So how we do that is we need to check first that we've got Python installed. If we've not got Python installed, there's a link in the comments below, in the description below even, to kind of show you how to do that, but it's pretty simple. So if I do Python 3 here, you can see that I've got Python 3.1, 11, so 3.11.3 installed, which is really handy. If you don't have that, you need to stop the video here and look at how to install Python. Once I know I've got Python installed, so if I exit out of Python itself, I don't want to go into it. Once I've got Python installed, I can then do Python 3-m and then create the venv like this, and then we just give it a name. So I'm going to call this venv1. Very unimaginative, but however you want to do your naming convention, you can put the name in here basically. That can be any name, so venv1 could be anything there. It will take a few seconds just to create the virtual environment. Nice. So what you'll then be able to do is, if I quickly dive into here, you can see that this virtual environment's then been created, which is perfect. So you've created the virtual environment, but you haven't activated the virtual environment. So you've got to do both bits to set up to start with. So we've set up this virtual environment, but currently we're not in this virtual environment. We're not working within that little isolated box. So to do that, what we need to do is type source, and then we need to activate the virtual environment. So we're going to do source venv bin activate. Now, what we're doing here is we're just providing a path to where this activate file is. So that venv1 bin activate, we can follow that through. So in my new project, we've got venv1 bin activate. So you can see it here. So all we're doing is providing a path to where we activate this. So I'll come back here and execute that. Nice. So you can see now the way you can tell very easily if you've got your virtual environment and the correct virtual environment you're operating in, you'll see at the end of this terminal line here, or the beginning of the terminal line here even, you're having curly brackets, the name of the virtual environment you set. So we set this to venv1, so that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch my VS Code with this virtual environment. So to do that, I simply just type code full stop. And to get this to work, so this won't work out of the box with VS Code. There's a little bit of setting up you need to do within VS Code to launch it from the terminal, but that's again in the description, so you can see how to do that. So perfect. So we've opened up. We've got this my new project, which is the name of the folder that we're working within. And we've got this venv1. So what I want to do now is I'm going to create a new folder, which is going to have my source code. Again, not too imaginative. And within that, I'm going to create a new file, and that is going to be called main.py. So the .py suffix means it's a Python file. So we can do Python in here. Now, if I open this up, what you can see again as a kind of a sanity check is down in the bottom right hand corner, you've got the version of Python we're running. So if you remember that from earlier on when we checked out Python was installed, that 3.11.3 is the version of Python we're running. And then you can see what virtual environment name we're running here. So if we had multiple virtual environments, we wanted to make sure we're in the right one, you can check here. We're working within venv1. Now, you're free to write any Python you want in here. One last bit that I was just going to show you was if we launch a new terminal. So this is similar to the terminal we were using back on the desktop here. You can again confirm that we're in venv1 and we're in my new project here. So you can see that everything is aligned and we are working within this virtual environment. So any imports I do here will stay within this virtual environment. If I then decide to go to another virtual environment for another project and have the separate virtual environment, they will then be isolated like we saw earlier on the PowerPoint. So they'll keep separate, and we can basically reduce loads of hassle for ourselves, which is always a good thing because we don't have these conflicting imports going on and having to manage 101 different imports. It's working in that virtual environment that we created. We can simply step out of this virtual environment and then we're free to create other virtual environments and step back into this whenever we want. So to step out of the virtual environment, we need to deactivate it. And to deactivate it, I've just come back to the terminal here on my desktop. I'm still in my new project, as you can see, and I'm still in this virtual environment when it's still active. So to deactivate, I simply just type in to the command line deactivate. I run that, and you can see that now the virtual environment has gone. So I'm now no longer in that virtual environment. It's not active anymore, but it's still there. So I can at any point step back into it. It's not been deleted. It's still very much there. So that is exactly what I want to do if I then want to create a new virtual environment, and I can follow the steps before, just giving it a new name to do so, to work on something else, say. And at any point when I want to go back to my virtual environment one that I created, that venv1, I just need to rerun the code that we used to activate it earlier. So it's source, the name of the virtual environment, which is venv1, and then bin, and then activate. And then running that, you can see now I have stepped back into my virtual environment one, and I am then free to continue to work in venv1 for as long as I want. And when I'm done, I can then deactivate again. I think best practice is to deactivate and step out of your virtual environments whenever you're not actively using them, just to avoid cluttering them up unnecessarily. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll be back very soon with more tips and tricks around coding and other bits, all STEM related. Thank you. Bye bye.